horrible story to tell you about today. UnitedHealthcare CEO was gunned down right outside his hotel, the Hilton Hotel. He was there to attend a conference. Scary stuff. Let's go to a quick excerpt from CNN on it.
All right, we are going to stay on the breaking news. We're trying to get some new information about what happened the last few hours here in Manhattan. The CEO of UnitedHealthcare was murdered, gunned down on the streets in what police are calling a targeted attack. Brian Thompson, you can see him right there. He was shot while outside the Hilton Hotel where he was arriving apparently for a conference. Let's bring back Bryn Gingras, who's been reporting on this, for any more information you've been getting, Bryn.
Yeah, that's right, John. Listen, I just got off the phone with sources, and I'm just learning a little bit more details. First of all, we should get a lot more details because we're expecting police to hold a news conference later this morning at about 11:30 or so. So we'll probably hear from the police commissioner. Hopefully by then we'll have a little bit more details on the investigation. As you can imagine, that is very, in high speed at this point right now. What we're also learning, of course, as John Miller was reporting through his sources, is that police are right now pulling camera images from all that area. And as I said before, there are a lot of cameras since we're talking about the heart of Manhattan. So there are images that police are going to have of this suspect, not only the video of this person, trying to get away on a bicycle, as we reported, through a back alley behind a theater, but also just images of this actual person. And what I'm learning from sources is that this person was also masked. So it's possible this is going to hinder a little bit of them trying to identify who this person is. I've also learned from sources just within the last few minutes that that person might have been waiting outside that hotel for about 10 minutes or so. As we said, John was reporting that sources were telling him that we believe he was waiting. It's a targeted attack against that UnitedHealthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. That is one of the theories that investigators are working with right now. So it's possible that person was actually waiting outside that hotel for about 10 minutes or so. Again, this is all preliminary information. This is what we are learning from sources at this point. And of course, they need to firm up their information as this investigation continues. But we will expect some more information, certainly when police have that press conference. We're expecting around 11:30 this morning. But those are some.
Okay, so the information I can bring to you that we know so far is that it was apparently a targeted attack. As she said, the guy was wearing a mask, and we don't know why he was specifically targeted, other than, you can run through the scenarios. I mean, one thing that came to my mind, and one thing that I'm on alert for and concerned about, is this some kind of Antifa thing? That's one idea. Another idea might be that, and again, this is pure speculation, so we want to be cautious with all of this, but is there somebody who maybe lost a loved one because United Healthcare denied certain coverage, and therefore this was a vendetta that they had? It's not clear, but what I can tell you is of utmost concern is the idea that they could do this at 6:45 in the morning in Midtown New York City. I can tell you, my Fox office was just like a block away between 6th and 7th Avenue. And there's many offices right around there. And, people are walking around at 6:45 in the morning. I know it's still kind of a little bit dark out, but people are walking around. So this just happened at dawn in one of America's most vibrant cities. Certainly the most affluent city in terms of the money that is made in New York City. And I get back to what the heck has happened to New York City. I mean, if they think that they can do this, do we run certain risks that other things could happen? The third thing, of course, that comes up is, oh my gosh, you have a lot of criminals now in New York City, an estimated nearly 60,000 migrants that are criminals, all right? These are not just the hundreds of thousands that are there, but 60,000 with known criminal backgrounds. So that has to change. New York Post did some reporting on this. They came up with 58,626 migrants with criminal backgrounds. They have actually nearly 800,000 total migrants living there. 7.7% of them do have known criminal backgrounds. I mean, this has to change. And whether this was a targeted attack or whether it was a migrant thing, I don't know. Like, we don't know a lot. I do believe it probably was an assassination kind of attempt, and that's scary and it's awful, and we have to change this. But it all kind of goes hand in hand, right? We need safer places, which means actually we need very good intel departments to find out, just exactly how this stuff is happening, because I'm talking on the ground intel. If it happened to this guy and they don't catch this person, we have a serious, serious problem. As for the migrants coming here, the 60,000, nearly 60,000 criminals, you know what? Kathy Hochul says she's playing ball. She's on board with ICE and Trump in what they're trying to do.
Our immigration system is woefully broken. It's been broken for decades. There was an opportunity to make meaningful change that the Republicans in the House of Representatives killed, and they should be held accountable for that. But we need to fix the border, fix the system. But I'll tell you this, those who come here legally, we want to get them jobs. I have 460,000 open jobs in the state of New York. I want them to get the proper work permits. I want them to keep their temporary protective status, if that's what they have. I want to make sure that they're part of contributing to society while they're here. That's separate from people who are criminals. Someone breaks the law, I'll be the first one to call up ICE and say, get them out of here. So there is a difference in categories of individuals. And so I just had a meeting this morning with my team that's been studying all the scenarios that could play out over the next few months and what we need to do to prepare. We'll be announcing more about that. And also making sure that our final requests to the Biden administration are secure. And so that's something else, again, I'll do a report on what we've achieved in the next couple of weeks.
Just to be clear, are you supportive or not supportive of deporting undocumented immigrants whose only crime is either crossing the border or overstaying?
If they're here with legal papers, like they came and they're seeking asylum, like the 224,000 people who came to New York, they're here legally in search of asylum. And that process will play out. But there are other people who commit crimes or are known to be criminals before they arrived here. When those are identified, I'll be the first one to help get rid of them. I don't want them here.
I
don't want anybody
finally, thank
life.
you. Finally, they're talking some sense. It took a whole 2024 election to have anybody actually admit that you don't necessarily want to be opening your arms to criminals, for goodness sakes. And maybe you ought to be working with ICE in the jails to get them out of the country. Is that revolutionary?
We're not asking you to be immigration officers. We're asking you to assist us in the jails. Let us in the jail to arrest the bad guy, because if we can't arrest the bad guy in the jail, in the safety and security of a jail, that means they release them back in the community. They're screaming and yelling. They don't want ICE officers in their neighborhoods. Well, guess what? If you don't let us in the jail, you are forcing us into the neighborhood. More officers in the jail means less officers in the neighborhood. It's just simple math.
Yeah. Okay. Simple. But the other thing is you need some good ground intel. So I know that Vivek and Elon are going to do everything they can to get rid of all the bureaucrats in Washington. That's important. You need to do that. But simultaneously, you want to make sure that you still have the people you do need, right? I'm talking about the people that are on the ground, that are running the intel ops in a place like New York City, that get the information that maybe, like there's a hit out for hire, so that you don't get into the situation that we saw unfold this morning, where a CEO was tragically gunned down. That's pretty important. So you're going to need the right kind of intel.